with Joseph? Joseph is the almost surrogate father of Jesus. Is that right? But Joseph has a dilemma on his hands. Joseph has, if I can use this term, Joseph has baby mama drama. Joseph has, sure enough, down to the nitty-gritty, baby mama drama. Now, this drama is a little bit different than the drama that we experience in our personal relationships when it comes to something like this. But Joseph has a real dilemma before him. According to the scripture, Joseph is a righteous man. Joseph is a righteous man, and as a righteous man, that means he applies things the right way. That means Joseph does the right thing whenever it's time to do the right thing. Joseph is, by all accounts, a good man. He's the kind of man that you might, if you're looking for a man, you might just get the flashlight out to see if you can find a man like this. He's a good man. Joseph is worth the price of admission. Joseph is the kind of guy you want to be around. But Joseph has this real dilemma because in his goodness, in his righteousness, he finds himself faced with a situation not of his own making, per se. Joseph is engaged to a woman who is with child, and Joseph does not know her yet. You're starting to see his dilemma come into focus, right? He is a righteous man, and he has this. Mary is not even his wife yet at this point in the story. Mary is only engaged to Joseph. They are engaged to be married. If you're engaged to be married, that means you're not married yet. Is that right? They are engaged to be married. They're working on getting their thing together. They don't have their thing together yet. Joseph at this point in the narrative does not know Mary. He's familiar with her, but he does not know her. See, this brother has a real dilemma. He's got baby mama drama. He is engaged to a woman, and in Jewish marriages, back in the first century, when you got engaged, it wasn't just you go to the young lady or to the young man and you all just get together. In Joseph's day, when you got engaged, before you got engaged, the two families agreed. Now, that's not the biggest problem. The next thing that took place is that there is a public pronouncement that this engagement has taken place, right? So now, not only does Joseph know that he's engaged, not only does Joseph's family know that he's engaged, but the whole community knows that Joseph is engaged to this young lady. I want you to just really get some sense of what his dilemma is, right? He is engaged, and his fiance is with child, and he does not know her. So once the engagement takes place, there's a full year before you can, relate. You with me? Right? So he does not yet know his fiance, and he finds out that his fiance, whom he does not know, is with child. Yeah, she's pregnant, and he does not know her. Now, I don't know about you. I've only been married once. And I'm not trying to get in anybody's business. But just to some folks' way of thinking, that's certainly grounds enough for separation. even for a righteous man. Huh? Oh, come on now. Come on now. Or I guess I'm just talking to a room full of righteous people. All right. Well, not you in here. Not you, but the people that you know who run into these kind of situations, who have baby mama drama. How is it that they handle those situations? But I want us to look at this from a metaphysical perspective so that we might get some sense of how it is Joseph is going to handle his fiance. If you go down to the second point on your bulletin, it talks about Joseph. What does it say Joseph represents? Joseph represents intellectual understanding. So that means that Joseph is a thinker. Huh? That means that Joseph not only is a thinker, but he's led by his thinking. And so in his consideration of what it is he should do about his dilemma, he uses his intellectual capacity to help him determine how it is he should handle his situation. How many of you know that when you run into stuff that puts you in a bind, you tend to try to think your way out of the situation? Huh? Joseph is going to think his way out of the situation. He's going to use his intellectual power to help himself come to a resolution about what he should do with his dilemma. But sometimes your intellectual capacity, your intellectual acuity is not sharp enough to let you know what it is you need to do about your dilemma. Sometimes you have to take a step back away from your dilemma and away from the way that you think and approach the situation, and you have to find something just a little bit deeper in your soul, especially when it deals with stuff that you really don't know. Huh? Joseph really does not know Mary. He's engaged to Mary, but he really does not know Mary. He has not come into what some might call the deeper aspects of her being yet. He don't even know her. So he's about to make a decision on something that he doesn't even really have true contact with. I want you to hear me. Because sometimes in our smartness, in all that we know, in our book sense, in our knowledge base, we tend to plan things, based upon what we know. But I want you to know that Joseph doesn't know Mary yet. Joseph does not yet realize the purity of Mary. You hear me? There's the Excuse me, forgive me. I don't mean to yell like that, but it's just, I just feel good. I just feel good. Joseph is working with something, and something's working with Joseph. See, Joseph has something. He is a part of something that's bigger than himself. But it does not yet realize it, because what he is making his evaluation on is what he can understand. What he can understand. But your intellectual understanding will always leave you short when it comes to trying to evaluate things of a spiritual nature. I believe the scripture says that spiritual things must be what? They must be spiritually discerned. And so Joseph has to, if he really wants to get to the crux of this issue, if he really wants to get his hands around this dilemma, he's not going to be able to use his mind. He's going to have to find some other capacity within him that is going to give him what he needs to make it through this dilemma. See, you're not going to always be able to think yourself through the storm. Sometimes you're going to have to look at what it is, and you're going to have to do just what they sang earlier. You're going to have to trust that something is at work that is beyond what it is you figure it is. Joseph is wanting to put his wife away, and now according to the scriptures, according to the story, he wants to do it quietly. Joseph wants to put Mary away quietly because he's a righteous man. He's a righteous man, and since he's righteous, he wants to save her from being embarrassed. He's so noble. This is so noble. This is so noble of him. This is so noble of him. He's a righteous man. He's righteous. He's righteous. And since he's righteous, he's got to do the right thing. Huh? He's righteous. He's righteous. See, and righteous people do the right thing. He's righteous. He's righteous. And so since he's righteous, he needs for you to know, those who the public pronouncement has been made to, he needs for them to know that he's righteous too. But I submit to you that on the other side of his righteousness, is a desire to save face. It's on the other side of his righteousness, on the other side of his intellectual understanding, is the desire to not have it look like he actually touched this woman when he wasn't yet supposed to touch this woman. You have to watch your intellectual understanding. See, because your intellectual understanding will make you believe that you're doing things for the right reason, but you might not be doing things for the right reason. You might be doing the right thing for the wrong reason. Intellectually, Joseph is, I submit to you, doing the right thing, but for the wrong reason. It's not so that he can spare Mary, it's so that he can spare his reputation. It's so that as a righteous man, once he puts her out, he can still be righteous. And he can say to everybody, it wasn't me, it was her. And whoever she was involved with. But what does it say about Mary? From your bulletin. Read it one more time. But Mary was still purified. Mary was still purified. Mary was still a virgin. Something got a hold of Mary that not even Mary could explain. Something is in you. Something is on you. I want to go up here and make sure these folks in the balcony can see me. There's something about you, there's some aspect of yourself that is so pure and so clean that you haven't even touched it yet. There's some part of you that goes so far beyond what you say, do, think about who you are, that's so chaste that it cannot be touched, not even by that part of yourself which you are engaged to. You are the divine expression of God, and I just want you to get a real sense of what it means for you to be pure in mind, heart, and soul. I want you to get a sense of what it means to separate yourself from the stuff that you do. You are not the stuff that you do. You are not the stuff that you think. You are not the place that you work. You cannot be limited to these limited things that you may use as a channel, but they are not a true expression of who and what you really are. You are really pure at your core because you're really one with God. You are made in the image and after the likeness of God. You are a spiritual being made in the image and after the likeness of Father. You have to get a real sense of who it is you are. See, if you don't know who you are, then you'll listen to your mind when it tells you that you have to be put out because what's on you or what's in you is wrong. But what's in you is not wrong. What's in you is more so right that it can't get no righter.